acting was no glamorous pursuit. In the Byzantine world, actresses were seen as morally suspect, their profession closely tied to prostitution. It was into this environment that Theodora stepped as she grew older, learning to dance, act, and captivate audiences who cheered one moment and sneered the next. Hostile chroniclers like Procopius in his Secret History painted her early life in scandalous terms, portraying her as shameless and depraved. Yet his venom also reveals something else. Theodora had a presence. She could command attention, charm, and audience, and hold her own in a male-dominated world. The very skills that critics used to shame her, wit, allure, and resilience, would later make her formidable as empress. Despite the contempt society heaped upon her origins, Theodora's early years gave her a hard-earned education no tutor could have provided. She witnessed firsthand the struggles of the poor, the precariousness of women's lives, and the brutal judgments of a society obsessed with honor and purity. In this crucible of hardship, Theodora developed not just the instinct to survive, but the ambition to rise. What began as a childhood in poverty laid the foundation for one of the most astonishing ascents in imperial history. By the time Theodora entered her teenage years, she was already part of Constantinople's entertainment world, a realm that dazzled the masses, yet condemned its performers. To be an actress in the Byzantine Empire was to live with a permanent stain. Women on the stage were assumed to be courtesans, their art inseparable from scandal. For Theodora, this world was both a cage and a classroom. According to Procopius's infamous Secret History, she performed in provocative plays and delighted audiences with bold humor. He relished recounting lurid details, likely exaggerated to discredit her later as empress. But what emerges from beneath his venom is a woman who has mastered attention. She learned how to work a crowd, how to charm men of rank, and how to survive in a society eager to discard women like her once their beauty faded. Theodora's career as a courtesan also introduced her to the circles of influence that orbited Constantinople's elite. Wealthy patrons, officials, and even foreign envoys mingled in the city's theaters and pleasure houses. For a clever woman, these encounters provided opportunities to build networks far beyond the reach of her birth. Theodora, with her quick wit and eloquence, was no ordinary courtesan. She impressed not merely with beauty, but with intelligence and sharp conversation, traits that would later distinguish her at court. Her life took a dramatic turn when she traveled east to North Africa, living for a time in Alexandria. There she encountered new philosophies and Christian teachings that reshaped her outlook. Some sources suggest she embraced a pious life upon returning to Constantinople, abandoning the theater and focusing instead on weaving and modest work. Whether her repentance was genuine or strategic, it changed how people perceived her. No longer merely an entertainer, she began to reinvent herself. Theodora's transformation from courtesan to penitent woman was remarkable in a society that rarely forgave women for their past. She had stared down disgrace and found a way to reframe her story. By the time she returned to Constantinople, she was no longer just an actress with a scandalous reputation. She was a woman poised for something greater. Her intelligence, resilience, and ability to navigate both the pleasures and perils of Byzantium had prepared her for an encounter that would change history, meeting Justinian. When Theodora returned to Constantinople after her time in Alexandria, she was no longer the carefree performer of her youth. She carried herself differently, still witty and charismatic, but tempered by experience, and according to some accounts, more pious. It was during this period of reinvention that she crossed paths with a man whose destiny was already unfolding, Justinian, the ambitious nephew of Emperor Justin III. Justinian was captivated by her almost immediately,